In the meantime, I do want to touch on another major story that has really captivated headlines throughout the last couple of days. And we're talking about Cracker Barrel. So we are just learning that Cracker Barrel is returning to its new logo after some major backlash that the restaurant chain faced. So we are going to have team coverage on this entire situation. So joining me today on this Wednesday is going to be Caitlin Pratt with Fox 5 in Atlanta. We also have Tsvetta, a consumer expert. Caitlin, we're going to start with you, though, because you have been tracking all of this from down there in the Peach State. What can you tell us?
Good morning. Okay, who knew that there'd be such an uproar about a rebrand, right? Well, you see the logo over my shoulder here. Uncle Herschel is now here to stay. We said we would listen, and we have. Our new logo is going away, and our old timer will remain. That's the latest message from restaurant chain Cracker Barrel after its stripped down logo had people fired up.
I'm old school. I like the old original menu that they had better.
You know, it ain't broke. So why are they trying to change anything?
The rebranding modern minimalist with just the restaurant name in simple font, but critics responded in numbers, saying it wiped out any personality.
I'm country all the way. I think they need to keep it country from now on.
They're not doing themselves any favors with everything that has gone woke. How many have made it?
Profits of the company have been declining for the past 4 or 5 years, and so the company thought it needed to do a rebrand and a freshening of its restaurants. Much of the backlash against Cracker Barrel's new look came from fans who labeled the new logo as woke. The CEO responding to the outcry.
We've been very transparent about our goal of making our stores feel brighter and even more welcoming than they already are, while maintaining that country hospitality and charm that we're known for.
And if you spent any time on social media the past week or so, then you've seen the debate back and forth, and even the president weighing in on this latest reverse course, saying, quote, on Truth Social, all of your fans very much appreciate it. Good luck in the future. Make lots of money. And most importantly, make your customers happy again. That's the latest here in Gwinnett County, near Atlanta. I'm Caitlin Pratt. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Caitlin, for that report. Good to go down there, at least for Gwinnett County over in Georgia, but really for all of those restaurant chains across the country. And as Caitlin was mentioning, we do have here on your screen that post from President Trump, who also responded to this entire saga here, where he did say that, quote, congratulations, Cracker Barrel, on changing your logo back to what it was. All of your fans very much appreciated. So we're going to continue this conversation, though, bringing on to the program now Tsvetta Kaleynska. She is a consumer expert. Tsvetta, you have also been following this very closely, but you're tracking the numbers. What did that show us over the past few days?
Hi, good morning. I track consumers and I track what they say on social media platforms. So in the last few days alone, there are about 1.5 million mentions of Cracker Barrel and their logo change on social media. Sentiment was incredibly harsh, with 52% negative sentiment. So we can actually take the Cracker Barrel logo update and it could be seen as a case study in how skipping traditional, quick, modern research tools can really lead to the backlash and the erosion of brand loyalty. And as I do track consumers, I wanted to also mention that I have bad news for the brand, and that is that over just the last 3 days alone, over 12% of those 1.5 million mentions now relate Cracker Barrel with Bud Light. So now the new headline among consumers is that they went calling Cracker Barrel from calling it American traditional, homey, nostalgic, to actually calling it now the Bud Light of restaurants.
But so that really kind of segues me to my next question, because I was going to ask, have we seen this happen with any other brand when they tried to take a risk, even with traditional logos, and it really just backfired? And I guess Bud Light would be a good example. Can you remind us again what happened with Bud Light and kind of where that's all come to at this very moment?
I would love to. So several years ago, and that's just Bud Light's not one brand. There have been multiple brands that have taken a different approach when it comes to traditional marketing. And I think that really has come from the desire of the C-suite to be seen as making a change, being more in tune with consumers. But what we've actually seen is that they've alienated consumers. So several years ago, Bud Light came out with a partnership, which was basically seen as a backlash for the brand, just because it seemed like they probably had not done consumer research or consumer listening prior to actually coming out with a partnership. And I think what we've seen over the last several years has been that multiple brands are creating almost like a disconnect with their consumers. So instead of listening to what these consumers want, with, again, traditional, fast, and effective market research and social listening methods, they are taking decisions probably based off of the opinion of single people or smaller teams. So being heritage-driven for brands is incredibly important. Cracker Barrel, again, is an example of what happens when a heritage-driven brand removes its own culture from a visual aspect like their logo. And then it's instantly becomes detached from its roots, and that's how consumers see it. One interesting statistics that I could also bring, besides the fact that over 52% of the sentiment online was negative, is actually that the male consumer, skewing young male consumer, was the primary discussioner or people who went online to talk about the Cracker Barrel logo. That tells us that actually they are detaching themselves from that specific audience and the younger audience, which, if you think about it, for the future generations of the existence of the brand, that generation will remember this change. Now, the good thing is that the brand actually was proactive in the sense that it only took them a week or less than a week to come up with updates. But again, it could be seen as a questionable move, whether those were influenced by external parties. But when it comes to the consumer sentiment, I can definitely tell you that it was overwhelmingly negative. And I hope that the brand right now is really doing social listening so they could figure out how they can reconnect with their own consumer.
And it seems that they are. It seems that they are being proactive to try to, it was chaos. I was even surprised at really how much backlash Cracker Barrel got because of that. But speaking of, given all of the negative attention that new logo got, what was the thought process behind changing the branding for Cracker Barrel? Why would a major company do that in the first place?
Listen, I think brands and restaurants right now are having a hard time differentiating themselves. We've seen over the course of the last decade that fast food chains have really been front of mind for the consumer and top of mind for them. So I do believe that Cracker Barrel probably had a very positive and good desire to really differentiate themselves and really move that stock, right? It's all about the success of the company and how they're performing. But I do think that what ended up happening is they missed a very important step, which is, again, in marketing, we call it A/B testing. So message testing with your own audience. And I am aware that they hired an agency, an external consultant who came to actually work with them and partner with them, basically tell them what would be the best way to do this change. But again, I'm shocked that they didn't really go to traditional market research prior to making that move and doing a softer launch. So they could have taken several approaches to this. They could have taken a longer time to basically issue the logo and issue some of the statements when it comes to the change. And that's where I come in. And again, as an expert in my consultancy, we come in to help clients understand through social listening, through live mentions on social media, how would consumers perform, how would they behave, and maybe how would they perceive not only the brand, but also their products, and again, logo changes and any of those related topics.
And it does seem that, following the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, would really work for a lot of these companies. Tsvetta, we do appreciate your time today. Is there anything else that you would like to add about this specific topic, or even some advice that you would give to companies or these large-scale corporations if they're thinking about rebranding?
I would love to give all corporations the advice to do social listening. It's quick, effective, and you can literally understand what consumers think within the same minute. Other steps that they can think of could be, why not just partner with influencers who can help you actually spread alternative messages, and again, faster and safer. But traditional and modern research are the ways to go. So anytime a brand is considering any type of updates, don't forget that there are those tools in your toolkit.
Tsvetta Kaleynska, the CEO and founder of RILA Global Consulting, also a consumer expert. We appreciate your time here at Live Now from Fox. We've seen this happen before with brands, so no doubt it may happen again. We're looking forward to speaking with you soon.
Thank you.
Of course. I do want to put up this latest statement from Cracker Barrel, given this backlash that they received. Taking a look here on your screen. This is their statement saying, quote, "We thank our guests for sharing your voices and love for Cracker Barrel. We said we would listen, and we have. Our new logo is going away, and our old timer will remain. At Cracker Barrel, it's always been and always will be about serving up delicious food, warm welcomes, and the kind of country hospitality that feels like family. As a proud American institution, our 70,000 hardworking employees look forward to welcoming you to our table soon." That was a statement via X. I also want to showcase this live image out of Lebanon, Tennessee. That is where the center of Cracker Barrel is, the headquarters. It's a nice day over there. Nice little roundabout.